Hello and welcome to Teslanomics Live, everyone. I'm your host, Ben Sullins, and this is the show where we break down the past week's biggest Tesla news and talk about what that means and kind of, my thoughts and opinions on it, cover all the facts, and then get into a Q&A. Now, the Q&A happens on Crowdcast. If you want to join on Crowdcast and get invited to that, you have to join on our email list, which is at teslanomics.co/join. It doesn't cost anything or anything like that, but it is limited to a number of people because the Q&A can get kind of crazy and out of hand. And so I just try to keep it limited to folks that are on the email list. And even then, I cap it to about 100 people, which surprisingly sometimes does fill up pretty quickly. So thank you all for joining me. And before we get too deep into it, just on YouTube, again, I won't be checking any of the comments or anything. So if you have questions, make sure to go join on Crowdcast. All right. First story of the day, the biggest story, the most requested one that I got from the previous week was that the Model 3 is finally here. Invites to non-owners are going out, and it sounds like it's finally happening. February 22nd was officially the date where I believe they went out. Now, it's still only the premium versions, meaning you have to get the long-range battery and the premium interior, which brings the minimum price of it up to $49,000. Your $1,000 deposit will be subtracted from that, so it'll say $48,000. And I believe it's only only United States right now. And there is a little bit of confusion about this. One of the things is that if you go to the Tesla website where it has the delivery estimator, it'll show you that that it has late 2018 for the all-wheel drive version. However, in the configurator, it shows mid-2018. I have reached out to Tesla. I'm trying to get clarification on that, and I will let you guys know as soon as I have an answer. I think a lot of us are hoping mid-2018 for the all-wheel drive version because that should be at the same time when we get the performance version, and potentially things like other interior options and other stuff that people are waiting on. But it's here, and I know a lot of you are excited about it. A lot of you are taking delivery. If you are one of those folks, let me know in the comments down below what you chose. I'm always interested in hearing what people are, what features people decided to go with and why, because then that helps, Tesla and me just as an analyst try to understand maybe how the future will pan out when they unveil new products. So let me know in the comments down below if you're one of these folks, and if you are, congratulations. Now, I want to talk a little bit about why it made sense to give the current owners priority. And my friend Ryan McCaffrey, who has a fantastic podcast called Ride the Lightning, talked about this recently, and I agreed with him. So some people were upset. A lot of people were really upset on the video I did last week, the live stream last week, because I had my second invite. I could configure my second Model 3, and people were really just furious about like, oh, hey, your current owners are getting multiple invites, meanwhile, general public hasn't. And I think the reason is, and this is where I'm agreeing with Ryan, is that we're still in the very early days of the Model 3. It really is a beta car at this point. If you saw my video last week about the issues I've had with the Model 3, you'll know that there are a lot of things that they're still working through. And because they wanted to work with people that were, perhaps a bit more lenient on these things, a bit more forgiving, it makes sense that current owners would be the ones that would actually get these cars. So I think that is in defense of Tesla as to why, they didn't open it up to non-owners sooner. That's why, because the car, it still is very early days. Even to this date, no non-owners have actually received their car. Some have configured them, and it'll take 3 to 6 weeks is the current estimate. So, with all of that, I want to just say that this is a moment in time that we should all kind of just sit back and remember, because for many of us, as we're predicting, this will be the catalyst that really pushes electric vehicles into kind of the mainstream adoption. And in the US, it's a bit harder of a sell because we have heavily subsidized things like gasoline and all the infrastructure behind that. So gasoline in the United States is some of the cheapest it is in the world, believe it or not. And whereas other parts, Europe specifically, if you guys are watching from Europe, this, that the price of gasoline and diesel are just astronomical. And so it really makes a lot more economic sense. Well, here in the US, we don't always make decisions based on pure economic sense. A lot of times we do, but not always. And so a lot of us are seeing this car as the one that is really going to hit the mass market and be that tipping point where it's not just about saving money. Of course, you do save money with an electric car. It's about, the enhanced experience and all the advanced features you get with an electric vehicle, specifically a Tesla. So just take a moment, enjoy, revel in this. Even if you haven't got your invite yet, it's coming now that non-owners are getting them. That's going to be more and more. So yeah, as this story goes on, of course, myself and many other folks are going to be working on collecting the data and then predicting the delivery ramp and all that. From an investor standpoint, that would be something that would be real encouraging about this news, is that means this has to indicate that the production ramp is going well. I don't know about the parts and the automation lines that are coming over from Germany. I believe that they're not installed yet, or I haven't heard anything specific. But in any event, this means that it's happening, and so enjoy it. Take this time to share the story with other folks. If you get a Model 3, an early one, share it with people. Do meetups, go to car clubs, things like that. Because I think once people see this, is really what's going to solidify in folks' minds that this is the direction we all should be going in. So enjoy this time, guys. Now, next I want to talk about this guy that hacked is kind of the wrong word, a Model 3. And this was basically, he unlocked factory mode. So I'll talk about his YouTube channel a little bit. But one of the things in factory mode, it has all these stats about the car. And some of these were super interesting. Now, one of them was about the amount of discharge, the max discharge rate of 1200 amps. Now, this is, as Electrek reports, similar to what the Tesla 85 kilowatt hour S and X packs used. And it's only about 100 amps less powerful than the S and X performance versions before the ludicrous battery upgrade. So I bring this up because I was actually sitting around talking with some friends the other day that are all kind of geeks on this Tesla stuff. And we all were wondering if the performance model of the Model 3 will be faster, or could it be faster than the P100D? So I don't think, I think maybe technically it's possible, but I'm not sure Tesla would allow that, because that would be fly in the face of them, the Model S being the flagship car. So I'm really, really curious as the all-wheel drive and performance model comes out, what we're going to see. Could we see an under 3 second 0 to 60 time? And what'll be the top speed? Obviously, it'll be software limited, but could this really realistically race, competitively against a Model S? And therefore, and if it is, then it would mean it's one of the fastest cars in the world. So I was really interested when I saw that part of this here. So I'm curious what you guys think. If you're an expert in this area, what do you think this means? Do you think that we could see a sub 3 second 0 to 60 time for a Model 3? Because that would be, I would love to have that. As you guys know, I'm getting a second Model 3 when the performance one comes out, and that's what I'm waiting on right now. So more to come on that. Another thing about this that I thought was interesting was that they have this guy, EngineerX, has a YouTube channel, and look at that, almost 1,000 subscribers. So go check it out. You can just search for this here, or I'll put a link in the description. And he has several videos here that have broken down, like he actually opens up the car and looks inside of it and explains some things. Like one of these points here, he talks about, this section right here, in fact, is where the dual motor, the second motor will go. Really, really fascinating. Now, I'm not an expert at, how these cars are built. I know some of it, but this I thought was fascinating, all the work he's doing here. So definitely go check out his channel. I'll put a link to it in the description down below. And there's 3 videos. You have to imagine more are coming. So enjoy those details. Now, next, I have another YouTube video to share. This is from my friend Brooks over at Drag Times, and they took a Model 3, and if you guys don't know Drag Times, they're the ones that do all the drag racing videos with Teslas. Brooks has several kind of supercars and those kind of things, and they took a Model 3, and what they did is they put it on a dyno. this is the thing that actually measures the horsepower and torque. And what they were able to do is they did several tests, but in the end, what they found was that the Model 3 reported 281 horsepower at the wheels and 552 foot-pounds of torque. And that is pretty impressive. In fact, I think Brooks almost guessed it spot on. And there's a couple different ways to measure this. So it was really interesting data. I highly encourage you guys to go check out this video, and of course subscribe to his channel, because he always has fun stuff and is frequently racing Teslas, which I know a lot of you requested that I do. I am planning on it. I'm not sure. I think it's March 16th is the next day here in San Diego that we can go do it, where there's actually a racing event. So, once I get that all confirmed, I'll let you guys know. You guys want to come out, check out the car, whatever, if you're in the San Diego area. So, check that out. Have fun with that. I think that's super cool. Now, you guys maybe noticed that I'm wearing a TeslaCon shirt, which was from the convention we did, or the conference we did last December, and of course we're doing it again this year. And I'm not making any new major announcements about that right now, but what I did want to share with you is that we now have shirts for sale on Teslanomics.co/shop. We have 2 different designs to pick from, and this is a pre-sale because the designs we're actually finalizing a little bit of the details, but they're now available for you guys to go purchase. I know a lot of you had asked for this for a long time now, and I didn't want to just put out kind of a really simple design. I wanted something a little bit better, so I hired some designers, and this is what we came up with. So first and foremost, here is the Free the Data shirt. Of course, this is our moniker, Free the Data, and your mind will follow. The prices are $24 to $29.99. The $29 is just for the XXL because it's a few dollars more to manufacture. You can see that on the front we have the Free the Data with the Teslanomics T logo in the T there in the word data. And on the back, this is where the design isn't totally finalized. It won't be this big Teslanomics logo. It'll be a lot smaller and just near the upper neckline. I believe they call it an outside label. So that's the first design. You guys can go pre-order that now. It'll be shipping in 2 to 3 weeks, depending on when we finalize everything. And then the other one is the Superhero Tee. So the Superhero Tee doesn't have any logo or anything, any words on the front. And on the back, on the upper neckline, it just has the Teslanomics text. So this is kind of more of a superhero design, as I call it, where you have that on the front, and then on the back, again, you have the little thing. So go pick them up, Teslanomics.co/shop. I will be enabling more ways to pay with like PayPal and some of the other things. Setting up all those payment gateways takes a little bit of time. So for now, you can just pay with your credit card. And I think it's just credit card right now. So more to come on that. Of course, I'll be emailing this stuff out to you. And once we have the final designs and everything, I'll be sharing that with anybody that joins. So thank you guys for pushing me to do this. I've been really putting it off, and I feel like we were able to come up with some pretty cool designs here. So I hope you guys enjoy them. All right, next I have something which somebody shared with me via Twitter, which is really cool. It only applies to San Diego residents right now, so go us. But it will be rolling out to California, so I think it was worth sharing. Now, there is a pilot program here, the CVRP, the Clean Vehicle Rebate Project, is the one in the state of California that gets you an extra $2,500 off an eligible electric vehicle. A Model 3 or any Tesla qualifies for the full $2,500. And I believe this is the one where they actually send you a check. So the reason I brought this up, and now it's only for San Diego County right now, as I mentioned, is that you can be right here, a pre-approved rebate can be applied directly to the price of an eligible vehicle at the time of purchase at participating dealership. Dealership in this case is Tesla, so I'll make that a little bit bigger. So this is exciting because, well, first off, I wish I would have known that. Second off, this reduces the price of the car, which means your monthly payments will be less. See, all the other rebates that I've seen, the federal one in particular in the U.S., you get a tax credit. And whether or not you qualify for that tax credit, there is also a subject to change. And there's all these different things about it, but you still pay whatever the cost of the car was, right? So if it was $54,000 before taxes, in my case, I still have to pay, for that whole thing. I still have a payment for a loan on the amount that I financed. Now this actually would reduce the cost of the car. So this is even better because then on a monthly basis you're not paying off this extra money. So I think this is super interesting, and I'll put a link to it in the description. This is the Clean Vehicle Rebate Project. If you guys are familiar with how the rebate works in California, you should know this already, but this one specifically. So thanks to the user that shared that with me, because I think this is really cool. Now, again, it's only in San Diego right now, but the plan, as it even states, is to roll this out to the rest of California very soon. So real exciting stuff, making EV ownership even easier and better. All right, now I'm going to head over to Crowdcast and we'll jump right into the Q&A. Let me stop sharing my screen for those folks on Crowdcast. Sorry about that. Think. And we'll pull up the questions. We'll go full screen. If you're in Crowdcast, make sure to go vote. I'll take a moment and just a little bit of drink of water. Okay, and we'll go with this. So, NG asks, Elon Musk has said Tesla will be releasing a complete overhaul to the nav software soon. What kinds of features could we expect from this update? Well, I would, it's hard to say what we could expect. I'll just tell you what I would like. One in particular on the Model 3 is to move the location of the turn-by-turn directions to closer to the driver's side, because right now it's on the far right side. I think that would be a very simple fix. That would make a big difference in the Model 3. Other than that, I would hope that they would maybe integrate with something like Waze, which has alerts submitted by other users that are extremely informative. And also, maybe just some of the design elements of the screen. So I would say those are probably the three things, like the actual map display, where the turn-by-turn directions go, and maybe integration with something like Waze, which offers alerts and much more detailed information. Right now, it's pretty generic, and it often does really odd kind of routes and doesn't give you the kind of direction you would expect. It usually is pretty close to Google Maps, but not always. And that's where things can kind of go funky. So most folks I know that have Teslas don't use the built-in navigation because it's so spotty, and it's easier just to use your phone. So hopefully all those things are coming. Thanks for the question. Carlo asks, Ben, do you have any idea how much more range, if any, the Model 3 all-wheel drive option will potentially give us? Also, I'm interested in purchasing a 20-inch wheels from EV Direct. Has the wheel size affected your range at all? Okay, yeah. So two questions. I don't believe the all-wheel drive option adds a ton of range. If you look at the S and X, it's pretty similar. Maybe like a 15 or 20 miles at most. Not even that. I think it's even less, like 5 or 10 miles more. So all-wheel drive, I wouldn't really get it for the purpose of more range, because it's going to be insignificant in either case, unless the Model 3 is different than the Model S and X. I would get all-wheel drive if you live in a cold environment, or if you want the performance model and better traction control and those kind of things. Obviously, it's going to give you a lot better performance. But that's not entirely necessary, and I don't think like if I didn't have this channel and all that, I wouldn't be buying the all-wheel drive option. That's the sole reason I'm doing it, so I can get it, test it, race it, do fun stuff with it, make videos with it, and then I'll probably sell that once we get the Model Y ordered. So there you have that. The 20-inch wheels I got from EV Direct hasn't really affected my range at all. Now I haven't done an exhaustive test on it, but I can tell you that it's not something I've noticed whatsoever. I mean, I go maybe 3 or 4 days without charging in the Model 3, because on a 80% charge or the daily charge, I think it's 80%, maybe it's 90, goes up to 274 miles. So that lasts for quite a while, considering I work from home. So yeah, it hasn't really affected it at all. In theory, a bigger wheel should give you better range, but really what happens, from the guys I know that dig into this stuff, the weight and the traction are the things that really affect range more. So I have those Michelin Pilot Sports on there, which are arguably the best tires that money can buy. And so they are extremely grippy. And so that, if anything, probably hurts range. I don't think the wheel has anything to do with it, though, besides maybe the difference in weight. And I believe at EV Wheel Direct they actually have now the Michelin Pilot Sport wheels. So check that out. If I think the link is teslanomics.co/M3 turbines. And that'll point you back over to them, and then now you can actually get those same wheels for a bit cheaper. By the way, they also have the 18-inch variety. After I talked to them, because so many of you guys commented, "Hey, I would love these wheels, but I don't want to have to pay an additional $1,200 or $1,300 for the tires on top of the $1,200 or $1,300 for the tires, because the rims. So that's expensive. So now I think it's for $1,000 or $995 or something like that. You can get the turbines in 18-inch form, and then just swap everything over from your 18-inch aero wheels, so you don't have to pay anything extra. Of course, if you want the look, then the aesthetics, of course, the 20s I think are going to give you the best bet there. So thanks for the question. I hope that helps you, Carlo, and best of luck with your Model 3. All right, next Mark asks, how often does the Tesla battery pack cooling fluid need to be changed? Wow, I don't think ever. I'm not sure, actually. I would check out the Tesla service website. They have a thing there. I got my Model S serviced after 2 years, and they may change it at that time. If they did, it would be either at the 2, 4, or 6 year mark, I believe, is when they would do it. So it's a few years, not something that I ever really think about. So yeah, not something I guess to worry about. But yeah, I think you can find more if you check out the service plans for the Model S and X. And I think it should list it there. It lists everything that they do. And I just got mine done recently. So hope that helps, Mark. Leo asks, what is the time frame for day one reservations? I read on Electric that something special is a scale model of the Model 3. I made my reservation in the first few hours of April 1st because I was overseas and got the sketch drawing. Does that mean I am a day oneer? I'm not really sure. I have heard that word is out that the something special has been defined. I don't know what it is, but I assume we'll know that sometime in the next couple weeks. Whether or not you qualify, I would have to guess. Something weird about it. When I went onto the Tesla website a while ago, I placed mine day of. I'm in California, so same time zone. And then later it showed April 1st instead of the March 31st. So I was a little bit confused about that. So I'm not sure. I would log into your Tesla account and see what it says for the date. And I guess, stay tuned as we'll find out more details in the next few weeks about that something special. Was really hoping it was something awesome like free supercharging, because now paying for supercharging hurts my heart. I know if it economically it makes total sense, but it's just, as someone that's had free supercharging forever for the past couple of years, it's weird when I'm on a road trip with my Model 3 and I have to pay. To me, it seems odd. It's still extremely cheap. I think I paid $20 to go 500 and something miles. So yeah, not bad. Thanks for the question, Leo. Leo asks again. I also should Tesla owners have to worry about hackers? Well, I mean, should people have to worry about hackers? And by the way, you have to be careful how you use that term, because a hacker for a tech person like myself is a good thing. And I worked for the hacker company, also known as Facebook. They're on one hacker way. So a hacker is a term that gets thrown around and can, depending on who you're talking to, can be misunderstood. So yeah, certainly everyone should be concerned about theft and privacy and those kind of things. A friend of mine has a good website. I think it's called Have I Been Pwned, or it's owned with a P, which is the hacker kind of speak. And you can actually go check and submit your email address, and it'll look up of all the data breaches. I mean, if anything, I would be more concerned about the Equifax one than I am the Tesla one. So yeah, but certainly it's subject to it, just like any electrified or internet connected device is. So I don't know if that we should be extra worried about Teslas versus anything else. Have strong passwords, change them regularly. Besides the standard kind of advice. So there you go. PJ asks, Ben, in reference to the Electrek article regarding Tesla efforts to increase dealership numbers to greater than 5 in New York, Tesla efforts to increase dealership. Do you have any data or thoughts on how sales landscape could be inhibiting domestic sales? Yeah, so I believe there's only 4 states that you currently, and then it was 5 that currently can't have, that don't sell Teslas. And I did a graphic for Teslarati not too long about that. I'm not sure it matters that much. You can still buy them. You just can't buy them from a local place. Like in Utah, for example, where some of my friends live, they all have Teslas and they buy them by going into the store and checking it out and then ordering it online, and it gets delivered in the store. I mean, it's really not much different than anywhere else. So I think it's kind of a moot point, honestly. But the states, if anything, are losing out on tax revenues, and so that might be where honestly I would kind of lean on that perspective of like, you guys are losing out on potentially millions of dollars in taxes, for kind of a dumb non-reason, or at least that's how I perceive it. So yeah, I probably won't do a video on it though, but it is interesting to see, and honestly, I'm just a little bit confused. Thanks, BJ. NG asks, Trevor from the Model 3 Owners Club said he got word of the reliable source on the something special. Yep, is in line for waiters, and is definitely not as significant as free supercharging. Yeah, any idea what this could be? Obviously not a keychain. Why not a keychain? I would love a keychain. Oh man, where's my thing? Okay, I'll just go off on a tangent here. First off, Trevor and Ken, great show. Go check them out, model3ownersclub.com. They have a good forum, and of course their YouTube show. So the app on my phone is basically unusable. Now on this phone, this is an iPhone, it probably works well. In fact, I probably should do a test on that. So anyways, apparently on iOS, the app works well for unlocking your phone. On Android, it's basically unusable. I can be standing in front of my car, tapping unlock, and it just says request failed. I close the app, I reopen it. It may or may not work. I restart my phone. It may or may not work. The app on Android is basically unusable. And I've talked to Tesla about this, and they said they're working on it, of course. But that has resorted to me using the key 100% of the time, or 99% of the time. And so with that, what happens is it's a bit more cumbersome. So first off, if I have it in my wallet, like so, I can't just tap my wallet to the actual car, because the other cards in there, cause some kind of interference or whatever. So I have to take it out and I have to go tap it on there. That I have found that it appears that the RFID is on this side, like maybe where the A is. It's not on the other side, because sometimes I've held it with just the T part, that side of the card up, tapping it like this, and it doesn't work. But then when I flip it around, it does. So I believe that means that it's in there. Then I have to, put it in there. And then also when you get out, you have to lock it with the card. It doesn't automatically lock if you're not using your app, because, well, the app doesn't work. And so you have to make sure to lock it as well. So I actually wouldn't mind a keychain for this thing. I even posted on Twitter. Some people sent me some links of like a little plastic key card that goes on a keychain, because this is essentially all I have to get in and out of my car, which is really frustrating. And again, I complained about this before we even got this far, and I was like, oh man, if I have to do that every time, that's going to suck. Well, here we are. Phones are unreliable. There's thousands of different models of different phones. So yeah, pain in the butt. I wouldn't mind a keychain. And no, I don't have any clue what the actual thing is. I asked Trevor before the show today. So you'll have to just follow his stuff and stay tuned to his channel. So thanks for the question. Sorry for the tangent. Joe asks, what's the issue with the 12-volt battery? I've read a number of articles about the 12-volt battery dying, and the car is a lump of metal. I wouldn't say it's a lump of metal. The 12-volt battery charges or powers a few things in there. I've had mine had to be my Model S had to be replaced after, it was a 2013. I got it replaced last year, so after 3 years. They came out, and it wasn't a big deal. You get a notification very early on, and then Tesla can come out via mobile service and change it in, I don't know, 30 minutes or an hour or something like that. Don't quote me on those numbers, but I don't remember it being a very significant amount of time. If that doesn't work, I don't know what that would affect. Maybe it wouldn't let you unlock the car, or turn it on, or something like that. So yeah, but yeah, there you go. So they'll fix it, I guess, is the short answer, and it's not something to worry about. You get a notification well in advance of it actually needing to be replaced. Thanks for the question, Joe. Terry asks, greetings, Ben, and appreciation from Olympia, Washington. I have been seriously considering your suggestion about my Model S and to move my model reservation up in the queue. Yep, that definitely would help. If I buy from a private seller or a dealer other than Tesla, how does Tesla become aware that I'm now a Tesla owner and move me up in the line? That's a great question. I believe you would need to contact Tesla for them to transfer it over to you. Of course, they can't prohibit you from buying from someone else, but I would contact Tesla beforehand and saying, hey, I'm about to buy this car. I want to make sure that I can transfer it over. And then I assume they have to do something to create a Tesla account for you, or if you have one from your Model 3 reservation, they need to transfer it over into your account. And then my assumption is that once it's registered to you that you are a current owner, then you should, at this point, it might be, immediate or, within a couple days, get your invite to configure. So yeah, something to consider. But definitely I would contact Tesla. You can just find, their customer service line or whatever, and they should be able to answer this more definitively. And best of luck. Joe asks, a while back, Elon mentioned that the Model 3 will include free long distance supercharging. I don't think so. Have you taken your Model 3 on a road trip yet? Yes. If free long distance supercharging, how many miles? No. So that's not true. It does not include any free supercharging at all. There was some confusion around, I believe, January of last year. They put out something that affected Model S and Model X where it said all Teslas in the future. So basically free supercharging was ending. All Teslas in the future will get 400 kilowatt hours of free charging. However, that didn't extend to Model 3. They didn't specify that at the time, but I can tell you that I've had to pay for supercharging from, my very first moment having supercharging my Model 3. So yeah, you get zero free supercharging. And let me just close this and reopen it real quick because I know sometimes that resorts them. All right, there you go. Walt asks, what is Tesla saying the life of their battery is? Well, I think the warranty is infinite miles, 8 years on an S and X. And I forget, I think it's 300,000 miles or something like that. Or no, 100,000 miles, 8 years on the Model 3. The data I've actually looked at suggests that we're looking at 500,000 miles plus. And really the life in the analysis I'm doing is saying that at some point it's going to be degraded so much that you then want to replace it. It's not that it'll fail. It'll just be that it doesn't hold as much charge as it did before. So battery degradation is the term. And I've actually done a couple videos on this, and later this week I have another one coming out. So all signs point to them lasting for a very long time, upwards of, if you drive a normal amount, upwards of 20 years. And by then, who knows if we'll even be driving still. And if we still are, then perhaps battery swapping technology will be readily available. So yeah, there you go. Not something that I would worry about at all, especially if you're buying a new one, because you have the 8-year warranty on the battery. Thanks for the question, Walt. Tim asks, hi Ben, reserved in Maryland, non-owner, reservation configured, and will be here soon. Congratulations. My question is, how is the blind spot detection in the Model 3? Yeah, there isn't one. So there you go. Yeah, so it may be possible with not on the mirrors, how you typically see it, but in the part where the car is, it shows the other cars. Actually, in Autopilot 2, it doesn't show you the cars next to you. It only shows you the ones kind of in front of you and other ones up in front. But the rumor is that the new Autopilot 2, the new update will actually show cars on the side of you, which would then hopefully give you this side, the blind spot detection. They wouldn't, I don't believe, light up on the mirrors, but they would light up and probably audible warnings in the car itself. It needs to do this. It already does this, albeit not great. I can say after using the auto lane change feature with Autopilot in a Model 3, it's not fantastic. And really the hard part is if somebody's coming up fast from behind you and you go into a lane change, it can't really detect them until they're right next to you. And I believe that's because of the sensors that they use don't have that ability, or it's not, that ability isn't integrated into the current version of the software. So in any event, it's not great right now, but blind spot detection should be possible with the technology that, with what's in the car. So I hope that helps. By the way, the owner's manual is fantastic. You can read it in the car, but also online. You can find it. And if you have your Model 3, you can go into the section there, and I believe there's a button for owner's manual. I've actually been reading it lately, and it's pretty interesting. There's a lot of stuff about a lot of little things that they recommend that I wouldn't have known otherwise. So yeah, thanks for the question, Tim, and congratulations. I can't wait to hear what you chose and all those things in the comments and stuff. And maybe send me a picture, tweet at me, whatever. I'd love to know more. Thanks, Tim. Crafty Geek asks, how much do you think dual motor on the Model 3 will add to the eventual resale value? Yeah. Does this purchase value of the motor, dual motor specifically, depreciate at roughly the same rate as the rest of the vehicle? What do you think? Well, it's hard to say. It's a more expensive version. And so, for that, I would say it would be a higher price point, of course. The actual rate of depreciation, I don't know that it'll matter. What it may do is it may push the depreciation on the non-all-wheel drive versions down further. Remember, there were basically no Model S's available, used ones available, until the Autopilot version came out. And that's when the driver's edition, like I have, that's when they basically flooded the market because everybody wanted Autopilot. So they traded in their old Model S's and X's. I think Model S is actually only, and that's when they upgraded. And so at that time, that's when the depreciation on the Model S took a significant hit. And I bought mine for $54,000, the same retail prices I bought my Model 3 for. So I think if anything, it would hurt the other Model 3s, not necessarily the new ones. But then again, it's going to be an expensive, higher price point, so a lot of people probably wouldn't want it anyways. I wouldn't worry too much about it, and I certainly wouldn't buy the dual motor version just for that reason, because I don't think it'll be that significant. And really, if you're thinking about reselling it, these cars are meant to last, so I wouldn't have that in my head right now, unless you're like me or something, and it's like, hey, I'm going to be buying and selling Teslas for the foreseeable future because I have, it's part of my business. So thanks for the question, Crafty, and thanks for joining yet again. Mark Garnett asks, how many reverse white lights and rear fog bright red lights are fitted to the Model 3? Reverse as in when you're going backwards? Even if only one of each, are the bulb sockets provided so that the owner could add the missing bulbs? Yeah, that is an interesting question. I'm not sure I've ever even thought of that. Really, the backing up part that you need to worry about is the camera, which is garbage right now. It's really, really bad. I'm not sure I have an answer. Maybe check the owner's manual, or if you hit me up on Twitter, I could send you a photo of the back of mine. I'm not sure it's something that you'd be replacing yourself. And the bulb sockets, I believe it's all LED, so I'm not sure it really works like that. Anyways, thanks for the question, Mark, and thanks for joining us. Andre asks, Tesla cars starting a Model S came with Type 2 charging plug in Europe, which is a standard at that time. Now European regulation changed it to a combo 2. This new plug is indeed still compatible with Type 2, but with 2 extra pins for DC charging. Yeah. It's interesting. So you'll have an adapter, I believe, and my friends Kim and Saul Day from Spain, did a video on this. So he's in Paris, and he did a video on charging. So, and I think he did it in English, if that's your first language. So it's hard to say, but we're still so far away. If they do anything, it would just be an adapter. I don't believe they would actually manufacture the car with a different plug, but I could be wrong about that. So go check out Kim from Like Tesla and Saul from Saul Lopez on the video they did about charging, and that explains at least a little bit the difference between North America and Europe for the current models, and maybe that'll shed some light on this one. Thanks for the question. Felix asks, what's your guess about the current Tesla sales in the U.S. regarding the federal tax credit? I think it's Q2. Yeah, I think Q2 is when they're going to hit it still. Now, there have been some interesting things with delaying the Model S and the Model X to June, and I even heard July for some folks, which would signify that they're trying to delay essentially and push out sales or deliveries, because that's when it technically counts as a sale in the IRS's mind, or in the I think it's the IRS that does the tax credit here. So they may be pushing those out to try to hit it early Q3. That would be, I'm sure people would be just jumping for joy over that. Because then it would be Q3 and Q4 would get the full credit, and at that point, hopefully the new automated lines would be in, and we'd just be seeing tens of thousands of Model 3s being delivered each month, hopefully. So we'll see. I'm guessing Q2, and I'm still saying that because they're looking at about 25,000 Model S and X sales per quarter, and last I checked, there were about 150,000 towards the end of Q4. That was not including Model 3 sales. So as thousands of Model 3s are being delivered, I think we're close to like 8,000 now or something. It's likely that they're going to hit it in Q2 regardless. So we'll see. They may try to game the system. They may not. And if they do, I think everyone would applaud them for that, except for maybe the IRS or something. So I don't have any inside knowledge of that, though. That's just my speculation. Thanks for the question, Felix. Vic asks, are the all-wheel drive delivery dates being moved up to mid-2018 from late 2018 in the United States? This is a great question, Vic, and let me check. I haven't got an answer back yet. Nope, don't have an answer, but I will. I'm hoping to get an answer from Tesla on that, because there is a discrepancy here where on the if I go in and a single person goes in to the delivery estimator, it says late 2018 for dual motor all-wheel drive. But if I go into the configurator and say hold my place, it says mid 2018. So more to come. I don't know. I think there's a discrepancy there. I think a lot of us are hoping that mid 2018 would be the mark, but based on the latest delay, it could be late 2018, and just the configurator hasn't been updated. So more to come on that. Thanks for the question. Okay, I'm going to do 2 more here, and let me just close this out and then restart it just in case we got any new votes. We only got a couple votes left, so here we go. Melissa asks, what is the view from the back of the Model 3 in camper mode? Looking to take my Model 3 to a drive-in movie theater when I take delivery. Would have a good view. So I assume you mean looking out of the front or looking out of the back. If you're just backed up, you're just sitting in the trunk. It's not a hatchback, so there's really no laying down in there. If you do lay down, then you're looking straight up. There's nothing you can see out, because the whole trunk and everything is in your way. And then also I should just mention that camper mode currently doesn't exist in the Model 3, or at least not in the form that it does in the Model S and X. But I have tried the whole parking brake trick, and I couldn't get it either. So I'm sure that'll be coming soon. Not something really to be too concerned about. But you'll either be sitting in the trunk or sitting in the car. There's no laying in the back, looking out, because there's no hatchback. So you have this giant kind of bar coming across where the trunk connects. That would be blocking your view. Thanks for the question, Melissa, and have fun at the movies. Okay, last question here. Mikhail Brink, do you know if heated steering wheel hardware is part of Model 3s that rolls off the assembly line now? I understand that it is, but it's currently not available. because of software. And I believe I saw that recently in the user's manual. So check the user's manual out for that section, because I think that may help you answer that. And yeah, it's, if anything, it's a software related issue right now. Thanks for the question. I'll do one more from Crafty here. Ben, how many Powerwall units are you getting? Tesla's trying to encourage me to get multiple to enable fastest charging of my future Model 3. Huh. Apparently, the wall charger's fastest setting can't be supplied fully by one Powerwall, but my house uses less than one Powerwall's safe capacity. You know, I think two. So apparently, I believe I'm getting two from the referral program, and although I haven't heard any official word on that yet, and so that's why I'm getting two. Otherwise, I would just be getting one to kind of do an arbitrage thing here, and also for for power outages or anything like that with solar. I'm curious why you want to charge it extremely fast, because usually, unless you drive an extremely long distance or using it to do something like Uber or Lyft, then I don't think it's really necessary. So yeah, that would be the question I have. I probably wouldn't buy two right now. It sounds like they're just trying to upsell you here. And honestly, yeah, I'm just not sure why you would need to charge it extremely fast. So yeah, and then there's a question about the how to set it up so it can even handle that. So lots of stuff there. I'm not sure I know the answers for you, but I probably wouldn't buy a second one yet, because if I understand correctly, you can add a second one later, after you get your Model 3 and those kind of things. So yeah, good luck with that, and let me know. Thanks for the questions, everyone, and I appreciate you guys joining me here on Teslanomics Live today. Don't forget that later this week I have some more fun stuff coming out related to battery degradation, and I may have a surprise for you this Friday. So without further ado, let me just remind you to free the data and your mind will follow. Thanks for watching yet again, and I will see you guys back here next time. Cheers.